If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started now.
Welcome to the Money Vikings Podcast, where we conquer financial freedom. Join Greg, Jerry, and Bob as they discuss everything investing and personal finance. The Money Vikings Podcast is hosted by three dads who are doing what they can each day to burn down debt and build wealth. Learn the path to true wealth. Their podcast and website, moneyvikings.com, is a treasure trove of ideas. So without further ado, here they are, the Money Vikings.
First there was Indiana Jones. Then came the Wolverine, and finally, Gators joined forces with Vikings. This makes no sense, but they're cool things. Join us as we discuss our top stocks and investment moves in a market that makes no sense. Welcome to the Money Vikings Podcast number 44, the return of Brian. You guys there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That was nice.
God.
I wanted like crazy, I want like dramatic Hollywood music
good.
when Brian joins us, okay? I'm telling you. I get pumped when this guy's with us.
Oh,
That is movie trailer quality.
We need to get Epic Movie Guy. I was just going to say.
oh yeah, we do.
We really do. Well,
World.
hey, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm really excited about this show today. We've got one of our good buddies, Brian, back, and I love listening to Brian. I love being part of Gator-Traders community, and we're going to share what we're doing next, the ideas that we have next in terms of investing. First, a quick disclosure, as everybody knows, this is for entertainment purposes only. This is not investing advice. Any money moves that you make requires due diligence and are encouraged to consult a qualified financial professional. Okay, we got that out of the way. Welcome back, Brian. First question. Do you ever sleep, and how many cups of coffee do you drink each day?
No,
Go.
no, and it's an embarrassing amount.
Hey, Greg, you're talking about cups or IV drips? Because it's just straight to the
Well,
veins. Dude.
there you go.
It's just straight to the veins.
Yeah, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, coffee and caffeine has become such an important part of my day that I had to get a color-changing Gator-Traders mug.
I love that. That was amazing. I saw that. That was amazing.
That is so cool. That's so
Amazing.
cool. We got to get Money Vikings mugs up there, guys.
We will. We will.
I can show you how.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you hold my hand. Walk me through this.
Right. Well, hey, listen, Brian, you literally, it's my catchphrase, but you literally blew my mind last time. So we're back at it again. I love the amount of research, the amount of due diligence, the analysis. It's all great. I did want to do a quick shout out. A close friend of Brian's family got hit pretty hard with the COVID. So Brian, you want to do a quick shout out on that?
Yeah, that's his name is Andrew. He's a youth leader at my church. He's actually, directly with my directly over my kids. He was one of the what do they call it? The chaperones at the youth camp over the summer. He's getting married in about a couple of months, 2-3 months. Got hit with COVID really, really hard. They gave him a 10% chance to live. And whenever we found out about it, I put it out on Gator-Traders. I donated some money, put it out on Gator-Traders. Gator-Traders helped raise so far $6,534 of the $3,000 goal that they had.
It's amazing.
We're trying to get him up to about $7,500, maybe $10,000, something like that over the next week. So I'm still pushing that. He is recovering.
That's great.
They've got it to where he's not so dependent on the ventilators and everything else. They were going to transport him to New Orleans. They were able to leave him in Baton Rouge now. So he is doing a little bit better, but I mean, walking straight into, marriage. How everybody knows how hard it is getting started in life. That's whenever, those first 5 years or so really set you up for the next 20. Yeah. And this is a tough first step for them together. So trying to do everything we can to make the world a little bit of a better place. And I think these are two very, very worthy people as far as helping them out. So if you can throw a little bit their way, I'm trying to find an easy way to
Well,
the GoFundMe is called Help Andrew, but I can't see the rest of it because it's on my phone.
Well, it'll be it'll be loaded up on the podcast here as
listeners
well.
will be able to go to
yeah, there we go. There we go.
And I just to add to that, I think so listeners understand is it's medical expenses, it's kind of the day to day because as we know,
they can't work. He's still got a mortgage, he's still got a car note and everything else. That doesn't go away whenever you get hospitalized.
Yeah.
So the bills are piling up on them. They got a wedding coming up that they're probably going to have to change their plan, or they might have to change their plans or whatever to save money for the day to day, and then the medical bills, the awful pile of medical bills that comes with this type of stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of need there.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you brought it up. So we're going to say a prayer for them. Please help each other out, and everybody, please continue to be careful. I know we're getting better here. I think we're on the back end of this. Bobby works in the healthcare field, so he's keeping me apprised of things. But yeah, just be careful, folks.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
So thank you for bringing that up, Brian. So
thank you.
All right. Yeah, very good. Well, hey, folks, I think we got a great show here today. So we usually talk with a little bit of stuff in the news. Here's just my news thought at the moment. And it just struck me how long we've been in this low interest rate environment. I want to get your guys' take on this. What I'm seeing is set up here is a system that basically for a long time, and it's nothing new, but it punishes saving, right? It punishes savers.
Mm-hmm.
This makes investing, in my opinion, basically the system is forcing us to either spend our money, right, put it into the economy, or invest. And so I don't know. I just want to throw that out to folks. Maybe that's just a paradigm that we're in at the moment. So,
yeah, I mean, Brian and I were kind of chatting a little bit on the in the group last night. What's scary is that if we start to see this inflation occur, and I think people out there that aren't too savvy or versed or understanding what this really means, they think inflation like, okay, I'm going to pay more at this, when I'm at the store buying something and gas. Like, what does this mean? Well, what happens is that the value of the dollar goes down. It reduces the value of the dollar, so you're not able to buy so much with it. And just to give an example of hyperinflation, this extreme, is Germany back in early 1900s, where you had people who were retiring, who had retired, they had all this money saved, and they cash it all out to just buy like a cup of coffee. Like that. That's how devalued.
That'd be really bad for Brian and me.
Yes.
So many cups of coffee. But
yeah,
this pushes in a different direction, though. People need to understand is that, Money Vikings, we talk about this, right? It's not just about what you put in the market. It's about the stuff that we also outside of the market, real estate and the actual asset, the tangible physical assets, those items. So having and owning property and owning a home or whatnot actually increases in value. Or if you have a fixed rate debt, you're actually winning at that point, because it makes it easier for you to pay off your debt. Like there's things out there that
you're right, Bob. And that's why for the topic today, that's why I wanted to hear from you guys where you're putting your money now. Where do people put their money now? So what I'm seeing is, and I think you guys are seeing the same thing, assets across the board seem fully valued, or at least pretty high. Okay. Right. I'm having a hard time finding discounts in a lot of places. And we're going to talk about some of the plays we're doing now. But to me, the market doesn't feel like there's too many opportunities. It's a sea change from what I saw right when the pandemic hit, where I was seeing opportunities left and right.
Right.
There was all kinds of places where you could buy and see a good rise there. So, one thing I noticed, Brian, maybe you can address this, is I noticed that and I noticed this as being part of the Gator-Trader community, you're not afraid to change your mind on a position or a stock. And I think recently you might have kind of cleaned the slate and you put a pretty good percentage in cash. Am I getting that right? And what was kind of the thought behind all that?
Yeah, I got to looking at the SPY index. You're talking about companies individually that can move governments. And it looked weak. The talking heads on CNBC and all that, they were going crazy bullish and like
like
the old saying goes, whenever people are greedy, you start being fearful. So I started getting fearful. I moved out a lot of speculative positions. I pulled back to cash. I fortified some of my actual over the counter positions. I don't really have a thought process as to why, but they look strong where everything else looked weak, and it turned out to be a pretty decent play. Right now, I'm actually bottom shopping gold and some physical, or not physical, I'm sorry, precious metal type place, gold, silver, and whatnot. I haven't made a big move on any of those yet. They're just not ready, which is kind of weird because you would think as inflation goes up, so too with the gold price, and it's just everything's still kind of trending down. So you're talking about a discount in the market and where to look for it. I would think precious metals is probably the place to start looking for it, because gold and silver has been kind of getting. They just haven't had a really strong bull run in quite some time.
Do you feel a lot of that money was going into Bitcoin? It just seems like that was the same demographic.
It could have been. I mean, the slaughter that happened with Bitcoin lately is probably there's no telling how much money was actually lost, unrealized gains and whatnot. I mean, it's got to be incredible. I don't know really. I don't know where the money went, in all honesty, but I'm thinking that, I mean, every time the market runs bearish, gold and silver run. So I'm kind of just leaning on history here that's probably going to happen again. But could it happen with crypto? I mean, that's another type of alternate currency, just like physical gold and silver is.
Right.
So I'm kind of actually looking at the crypto, even though I'm kind of famously skeptical of crypto overall. I'm still I'm looking at that and playing it exactly like I would gold in a bear market, because the potential is there for that to really take off.
And that's the whole thing, guys. I mean, we gotta get out of this headspace of like, crypto is the next currency. I look at all of this at the end of the day as ways to make capital and make money, right? It's like, I'm going to go into crypto for some run up to make money. I'm not going to go into crypto because I'm going to go buy something with Bitcoin. And I know that's maybe contrary to a lot of people's views of crypto, but it's like, I just want to go in for that to run up and for me to have more capital.
Yeah, it's just another trade.
It's another trade, and that's
The interesting thing with crypto is you can't really go to the grocery store and buy things with gold and silver coins unless you know the manager and it's like not Walmart or something.
Right.
But he'll probably work with you on an ounce of gold if the market's if the dollar's not worth anything. But crypto's actually being accepted at a lot of these larger places now.
True.
Not all of them, but some of them. So you can kind of look at crypto almost like a foreign exchange, where if you go to, like whenever we were in Iraq, $5 could buy us a town,
right.
But 5 million denarii couldn't buy us much of anything at all. Crypto may, if the currency actually crashes hard and the market actually crashes hard, which the potential does exist, I believe. I guess it always does, but crypto is a potential kind of like a foreign currency, a more valuable currency than what we can carry around in our wallet. So it's another way to look at it. Under those circumstances, crypto may end up becoming the future, as much as I hate the idea of it.
We shall see, guys. I'm still sticking to the 1% to 2%, and we'll see how that plays out. Hey, Jerry, do you want to tee us up with where you're at the moment and one of the trades you're looking at in this environment?
Yeah, I'm just getting excited about the earnings season that is upon us right now. Every day for the next month or so, there's a lot of companies that we all know and love that are reporting. And so that makes the implied volatility rank of these companies that are going to be reporting earnings go up, because naturally, if you think about it, we don't know what these companies are going to say. The street has expectations of whether they're going to make money, lose money, and whether they're going to raise guidance or lower guidance for future quarters. So that raises the volatility and the IV rank of everything. And I'm taking a look at Netflix, which is kind of the king of all these things. It's in FANG. It's the N in FANG. And it reports earnings, I believe, on Wednesday, the July 20th, after the bell. So with it having a high IV, the idea is that with earnings and iron condors or strangle option types of trades, you want to, once the earnings come out, the IV gets crushed and goes way down. So you're basically selling IV premium and hoping to, as the amount of the implied volatility goes down, the credit that you receive, what you have to pay back and when you want to close the trade is much smaller. So you end up with a higher amount.
Jerry,
kept.
Explain that. You got to explain that to more of the layman's, right? Because I even consider myself a layman in this realm. Your wizardry is that when you're talking about selling, you're selling the IV crush and the premium. So explain this to the layman as far as when you're talking about these sorts of trades and was it the IVR is
IV rank.
IV rank.
The IV rank is for looking at the amount of movement that an underlying like Netflix would have before earnings. It's going to be very unpredictable and very volatile as compared to the entire year before it. Normally, it's not moving. It probably moves more than other stocks, but generally speaking, the IV rank, the chances and the probability that's going to have some wild swings, 1 or 2 standard deviations out, is much lower.
Okay.
Leading up to earnings, it's much higher. Then the earnings are known, and after the secret's out and the cat's out of the bag, it goes back down again and trades wherever it should. It might pop higher, it might pop lower, it might do nothing. But as compared to the prior 365 days when there aren't earnings, it's much higher. So we want to capitalize on that, and we want to sell volatility at these points in time. What I like to do is wait till the last possible minute before the market closes to enter these iron condors, so I can get the max IV rank, because those are basically, the options are priced the much higher. The premium is much richer when IV rank is higher. When it's lower, the price of options go down. So that's why we like.
And you're talking about entering the day of earnings, like right at the bell, right?
I would usually like to enter the day before earnings. So if it's going to happen on Wednesday the Tuesday, the 20th at the close, I would enter right before the market closes. If it's going to be the 21st, I would also do at the close on the 20th.
Okay.
So it really depends on when the earnings are being reported. Because typically I like to capture the IV as high as I think it'll be, and then when I do the trade, I want it to go down, the IV.
Okay.
So I want to get the most premium I can, and then buy it back for the least amount.
And so the way you're, and this is in essence, this is what iron condors are essentially designed for, is that you're it's like buying a call high and then you're buying a put low. Is that correct? That's the net.
It's actually a 4-legged option trade. There's a lot of ways to look at it. I find the simplest way to look at an iron condor is a call spread and a put spread put together. And it's a neutral trade. The way I'm structuring it, you can make it bullish, you can make it lean bearish if you want. I'm actually leaning a little bit bullish, and we'll get into that in a minute. But I'm making this a neutral trade for all intents and purposes. So I'm hoping the stock just does nothing. That in a perfect world, the stock does nothing. The IV rank right now is 34.6. I'm hoping it goes down to like 12 after earnings are reported, and then I'll just close the trade the next day. The idea is it's a very, very quick trade, and I'm looking at $5 wings on each side. So there's a call spread that has you sell the 595 and you buy the 600 on the call side, and on the put side you're buying the 485 put and you're selling the 490 put. And the reason we call it an iron condor is when you draw it on a P&L graph that just shows how much profit or loss you're going to make, it kind of looks like there's wings there. And Greg has a great cartoon that he drew of the of the actual bird illustrator. Yeah, with the bird kind of showing
Nice.
the wings flying. And really the Iron Condor, the reason it's 4 trades instead of 2, another way to look at it is just 2 naked options, a naked call and a naked put, which they say are very risky, and they are.
Yeah.
But I'm doing them far enough out where I would have a 76% chance of making half of the premium collected.
Wow.
So with the $5 wide, my rule of thumb, and I get this from Tasty Trade, is to collect 1/3 the width of the wings. So 500 divided by 3 would be 166. So I'm looking to collect $166 to enter this trade at the least. Now, if IV goes right now, options markets are closed. Netflix is trading at $529, $530, and it's showing that the premium I'd collect is 180, which is awesome. I would take that. I would take that in a heartbeat. But we'll see when the market opens and how things go, whether it moves around. The strikes that I just laid out could change dramatically between Monday and Tuesday, depending on what Netflix does, if anything, or if there's a market crash.
How much capital are you putting into this? What's your skin in the game when you do these?
I'm using only $320 of buying power. So, and that happens to coincide with my max loss.
Okay.
My max profit, if assuming I get $180 premium for this, could be 180 if Netflix just stayed at 530 for the next month. I'm doing this out to August 20th, so we've got about a month or so. Ideally, it would just stay where it is, and I would collect the full 180. But I don't trade that way. I'm a little more conservative, and I'm just aiming for half of that premium.
Mm-hmm.
So 50.
So technically, there's potential for you to get 50% return on your trade, which is nothing.
I don't know if it's 50% return. It's 50% of the max potential profit.
Potential, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I have a 76% chance of making half of 180, and I think that's pretty good odds.
There you go.
Well, there's your first gem, everybody. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then we're going to come back and hear from Brian and Bob, talk Cielo and other things. Hang tight. Okay, welcome back, everybody. That was cool, Jerry. Thanks for sharing your Netflix Iron Condor. Netflix is one of those I should have invested in years ago. I pay them every month, but they've never paid me.
It's funny you say that, Greg, because I actually read an article just a couple of days ago about consumers' exhaustion of subscription services, and
there you go.
Because everything is moving into subscription now. Even talking about like Tesla and their software updates and everything's moving to it.
That's a good point, Bob. We're like subscription on everything.
But
I gotta tell you, man, I'm loving The Witcher. Okay, just gotta say,
right?
Loving The Witcher. Okay, you got me, Netflix.
Hooked me.
Hey, Brian. Talk to us about. I think Cielo or any other things. What are you thinking on that one?
Cielo has been great, especially with the market turning down. That's kind of where I parked a good portion of my trades right now, or trading money is going actually a very long hold with Cielo. It's a turning trash into cash company. We've gone over it before. They turn landfill waste into renewable diesel and jet fuel. It's just a barrage of PR coming out about the company.
Yeah.
It's just moved to TSX Venture, but it's also over the counter in the United States. On the OTC is CWSFF still. It's just set up good. The daily chart is looking like a potential cup and handle type play. I'm thinking that an absolute bottom on it should be somewhere around the $1.10, $1 to $1.10 range.
Yeah.
So if anybody's looking for an entry, you might be able to get it down that cheap. I don't know really one way or the other on that right now, because it is set up to just be absolutely bullish right now. I'm looking at this to be still. I'm looking forward to double these prices by the end of the year, if not more. I'm looking at the $2, $3, maybe $4 range by end of year, and that might be in spite of a bear market. So this is one of the few. This is the lighthouse in the storm right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. I'm with you. I'm loading up on it. We had the Penny Queen on a couple episodes ago. You and the due diligence that you and her have done is absolutely amazing. The community that's continually throwing new information out is amazing. And I'm I'm reading it all. I'm analyzing it all. We clearly have a trash problem. I know my family is no exception to that. I'm guilty as charged right here. Filling up that trash can every week like a good consumer.
Right.
So, if this technology can take off, I think, like I say, I'm loading up. I probably started a little late. I started about 75 cents a share, but hey, it's gone up. So
it's gone up quite a bit. I mean, you're close. You're knocking on the door of doubling your money already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is America doesn't really know about this trade by and large yet. This is mainly Canada pushing this up in Sweden for whatever reason. If they announce a partnership with a major municipality here in the United States, which supposedly there's 2 of them coming up, but if they hit something major like a New York or a Seattle or New Orleans or whatever, then that's gonna make this kind of a household name in a lot of America. And what's going to happen to price with that? Well, an undervalued company. This is a cheap company, a cheap stock right now with a bullish uptrend and a sea of red. This has the potential to really, really take off and boom over the next 3 to 6 months, maybe even a year out.
And I think it's crazy how just looking at it from a technical perspective is that it lines up with the way it's kind of easing a little bit right now is in alignment with if any PR drops in the next couple of weeks or so, the technical indicators will support whatever movement that price goes. Like it's going to roar. So
Jerry,
it's just very interesting.
Yeah, Jerry, are you adding positions on this one too?
I have been slowly. I don't have as much as you guys do, but I am interested. I was going to ask Brian just for picking it up at 110. Like I work, so I can't. I mean, I know you guys all work too, but during the day I can't follow it as much. And I'm curious if you would recommend setting up some sort of limit order to buy it if it gets down to 110 during the day.
Well, right now I'm looking at a pitchfork, and I can put that up on my Discord. I'll put it in the free section, the CWSFF technical room on Discord after we get off of this. But I'm looking at a dynamic diagonal uptrend line, which is going to be the center line of the pitchfork. And I base a lot of my trading decisions relative to where price is relative to that center line. So right now, $1.10, $1.12 mark. Throughout the course of this week, that's going to be moving up to about $1.12. So yeah, as long as prices are bouncing to that and coming back up above it, then that's going to be high. But if it slips below the center line of that pitchfork, which is kind of difficult to explain here on the podcast. Sure. But if it slips below that, then I'm actually looking at a hard floor being at about where did it go? About 96 cents.
Okay.
So that 96 to $1.10 range would be a good area to buy if you could if you can get if you can get it to fill. But right now it looks like this thing's wanting to actually move up to the $1.34, $1.35 range, not really wanting to go down. So it'll all depend on the opening tomorrow, I'm sure.
And if this thing drops to around, just looking at it like a retracement level, if it drops down to like that $1 mark, that's a real, and it bounces up, that's a strong run out.
And that's a psychological support. Any whole numbers with $1, $20, $1, whatever, is always a psychological number too.
Yeah,
I'm excited about the whole prospect of it and the story and everything. So yeah, people check out Gator-Traders, check out Penny Queen, check out Money Vikings. There's all kinds of articles, due diligence up there on that one. Bob, do you got any you wanted to share? Next moves?
For me, because of the of course I'm with you guys on CLO. Brian, I had a different kind of view of the chart, and I actually backed out position for the pullback to re-enter to have larger position. But if it goes, momentum pushes it up, I'll enter in immediately to ride the momentum up. So I'm not worried there if I miss out on a few cents on it. But I'm actually doing a little different stance than I normally would. And I'm going to, this next week, keep an eye on the market, because if we do start seeing more and more of this fall off and correction, I'm playing the inverse. I'm gonna play some UVXYs and SQQQ.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna make some money there.
Right. Nice. Nice.
or placing puts directly on them, whatever. But the other thing I've actually been doing, I was dabbling a little bit last week, and kind of want to do it again because I've had some really good plays. Is playing some morning bell rips, and just watching some pre-market movement, and as it runs into the bell, first 10 minutes of the day, playing some rip and making some decent return on it. That's really all it is.
Hey, Bob, can I juxtapose you with my Grandpa Buffett monkey
pants?
Oh,
give it to me.
Can I bust out some Grandpa B on you?
Yeah, give it to me. Let me get my C's candy, dude. Hold on.
Why don't you cool kids out there, you fancy cool kids, when you guys make your sweet profits off of Cielo and your rips, why don't you throw some of those profits into Medical Properties Trust? Okay.
There we go.
I'm taking some of the the cream that's rising, and some of the profits I've been taking a little bit off the table, and I've been throwing it into MPW, Medical Properties Trust. These guys have been on. So first of all, I see it as a recession-proof play. People get older, people get sick. That's life. Okay.
Right.
And we can't do everything from home on Teladoc Health. If you got to go in for a procedure or you need something done, you need to go to a facility where doctors have their equipment and their x-rays and their anesthesiologists and all that kind of stuff going on. Yeah. So I'm loading up on some Medical Properties Trust with some of the profits, 5.6% yield. They've been on a tear. They've been on an acquisition tear lately, buying more properties. The market hasn't really liked that. They've thought, oh boy, they're spending a bunch of cash and money right now. But a lot of the analysis says, well, they're setting themselves up pretty well for the future. So anyway, that's just one that I've been doing. So there you go, Bob. With your rip, there's a little Papa B for you. Okay, a little Grandpa B.
Technically speaking, that actually looks really good.
You think so?
I do. I'm kind of glancing at the weekly chart right now, but mainly on the daily. Let me get my little box drone here, and I'll send this to y'all if y'all want to throw this chart up on your website.
Show notes.
Definitely. But this is actually sitting in a confirmed and recognized demand zone right now. So price is where buyers are supposed to be.
Wow.
That's typically a good thing. It's right below what's called the point of control on a volume profile analysis, which that's at $21.25. That's where the market's going to kind of say that the price is fair. That's where price wants to be. So just looking at the position of where price is and where price theoretically wants to be, that's about a $1 move up in price. That's not major, but that's good for a quick little flip at the very best, or at the very least.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Brian. I didn't know that part of it, and so it could be a quick flip. And if people want to hang on to it, it's like I said, it's sporting a 5.6% yield. You're not going to get that in a savings account or CD. You show me where you can get that, and I bet there's nowhere you can get that. So, yeah. So that's that one. Yeah.
And they do have earnings on July 27th, so that's something just to be aware of if you're going into those.
That's always scary.
Could be good or bad,
Yeah. That's 3% right now on a potential move this week.
So just throwing that one out there, guys. I got to do my Grandpa Buffett.
I love it.
Okay, what else you guys got?
Jerry, what are you doing?
I'm just managing the trades I've got. I don't know, 20 or 30 different positions in my Tasty Works. It's a lot. Yeah.
Slim those down.
I'm trying to pare down. I like, how you're doing, what is it? SQQQ?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have some NASDAQ futures that I am shorting with a, a call spread. So as long as NASDAQ continues to go down or stays where it is, basically the levels I'm looking at are 14,880. And also on SPY, I'm doing a very similar trade. I have an iron Condor that's bearish leaning, but then I also added another short call spread on top of that at the 450 level. So as long as it stays below 450 on SPY, and it's 431 right now, that's where it closed Friday. I'm slowly making some money on theta decay every day on those.
Wow.
I'm looking at the chart right now on these on spot QQQ.
Brian, how many trades are you managing at a time on average?
Right now, not many. I mean, whenever the market's in a good mood, I mean, it could go anywhere from a couple a day to as many as 30 to 50 a week. depending on, however much I day trade and all that. Right now, I'm pretty much just locked into CBMJ, CWSFF, and DPLS with a few bottom fishing plays. Just small positions that I can average up later or minimize my risk if they tank along with the rest of the market. And some of those are going to be the gold places like SAND and BTG.
Wow, loving it.
SAND is a gold play, right?
That is a gold mine financier, I guess would be the right word. They finance the gold mine companies, and in the last couple of bear markets, whenever gold ran through the roof, these gold mine financiers outperformed gold to the tune of about 200 to 400%. So I really want to. I'm really watching SAND because that is the lowest cost. Sandstorm is the name of the company. That's kind of like the lowest cost gold financier that I've found so far. And I don't know many. I know there's more than one or two. But sand is kind of like priced right at $7.63 right now. But it's just not. It's not technically looking all that good as far as the charts go. So I have a small starter position just to make sure that I don't forget to watch it. But yeah, I'm looking at it. It's just not ready yet. The market's not ready for gold to run.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, and with the one that I'm looking at for energy, I mean, there's a few with energy, but the REI, I'm still keeping an eye on. That one, just from a technical standpoint, the way it's set up, it's looking hot. I know there's a little bit of breakdown this past week.
Not really.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's anything that we just can't shake out of. It wasn't horrible. It was just people.
No, and this goes into the weird world of Brian and Gator-Traders. But again, price is sitting in the demand zone. It's being propped up right now where buyers are supposed to be at, and that's going to be a failure to reach the center line of the market geometry, a failure to reach major critical support, and if it does fail to reach those, then the only logical move is up.
Yeah.
So from we're looking again. This is a bottom fishing play. REI. We had a breakout. There was some money to be made on calls and shares. It's broken down a little bit. It's had a bearish divergence on daily chart. It's cleared that bearish divergence. It's found support. If it can hang out in around this level here for just a few more days or another week or so, then it could potentially have that failure to reach the bottom type move, and that's that's called Hausdorff dimension in econophysics. That's a big deal. That's that's a play that most people won't see.
Right.
Wow. What'd you call it, Brian? House what?
Hausdorff dimension. It has nothing to do with. It has everything to do with physics and nothing to do with the economy. It's a term that's been kind of ported over into econophysics. But it's basic. To the summary of it is, if it fails to reach the center of the pitchforks, then you can only expect, because it's not going down anymore. If it's not reaching the center, the only other move that it can make is going to be up, or vice versa in a downtrend. So I'm looking at it to at least make a move back towards the $3.35 range. I don't think that's out of reach. I think that can happen really quickly. It's just a sour market, and really this is a hot stock. It's cooling down on higher time frames. So I'm not worried about it.
No, I'm with you. And the thing is, if this thing, because we talk about the cup and handle, and what people need to understand is that a cup and handle, it's the easily generalized term of what's happening, the momentum and movement and sentiment behind a stock. But it's already tapped twice at that 335, 336 mark. That's what happened recently, back July 1st, July 2nd, July 1st. And then it's eased off of it. So it's, again, one of these things where technicals are cooling off. This third time it breaks above that mark, it's gonna go break above and hold. It's gonna go.
The key thing we're looking for here is, are the sellers, are the shorts going to be able to make a lower low? And if they fail to make that lower low, then the buyers should get excited.
Yep, and they'll be higher high.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, guys, any saved rounds? We like to keep these tight and condensed for our audience for maximum value. You got any saved rounds before we go? Well,
you got Brian, Jerry.
GSAT. I'm looking at it as a potential bottom. This has been an uptrend for a while. Louisiana company, so I like them. I'm looking for a bounce up there. If I can get a bounce up to GSAT and it break about 153 or so back to the upside, and then I'm looking for a move possibly back to the $2 range.
Yep.
GSAT. Jerry, anything else?
I was just looking at my portfolio. Yeah, I've got a $1 call out to December 17th on GSAT. Probably overpaid for that, but
If it moves up to 5.
Yeah, if it moves up to 5, I'll be very happy. So
Right.
yeah, just kind of watching that. Like I said, I'm except for potentially adding Netflix next week, that Iron Condor for maybe a 1 or 2 day turnover. I'm really just trying to manage my positions. When I get to the point where there's 21 days left in any sort of options play, I like to close them or roll them if possible. Iron Condors don't roll as efficiently. You can maybe do that once, but Strangles and some of the other plays you can roll out. Covered calls as well. I've got a bunch of those. I actually took a call off of UAVS on Friday. It filled when I was working, and it was 50% of the premium. I think I had a $4 or $5 call on UAVS, so I may add another one as well. It's IVR is looking pretty rich. It's 29.9. So
Nice.
to see what's going on with UAVS. I still have 100 shares.
Wow.
Well, audience, there you have it. Gators and Vikings together again. You can call him Wolverine. You can call him Indiana Jones. He's the man, the myth, the legend, Brian. Brian, I absolutely love having you on. It's just always awesome talking with you, man. So thank you
absolutely.
so much.
Thank you. Thank you all.
All right, you guys take care, and we'll see you up on cyberspace.
10-4.